Hey gang, Justin Seeley here once again, and I've got another Adobe Illustrator tutorial for you. That's right, today I'm going to be showing you how to create actions inside of Adobe Illustrator. And you're probably thinking, wait a minute dude, that's a Photoshop thing. Well, actually, no it's not. You can record actions in Illustrator just like you can in Photoshop. Let's take a look. Alrighty, so as I said in the introduction, we're going to be talking about how to record actions here inside of Adobe Illustrator. And a lot of people don't even know that this functionality exists inside of Illustrator, and that's really sad because actions can save you so much time. And I use actions all the time in Photoshop, and I know everybody uses actions in Photoshop, but people don't know that they actually exist in Illustrator, and they're so helpful. They can help you streamline a lot of your workflow, and if you learn how to use them correctly and also learn how to use them in a batch process, that can save you so much time. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. If you want to open up the Actions panel, just go to Window and select Actions, and you'll get the Actions panel here. By default, there is a set in here called Default Actions, and there are several actions available to you inside of this set. Some of the more useful ones are some of the opacity ones. Because there's no hotkey to change opacity inside of Illustrator, these come in extremely handy, and I've actually created some of my own that I use on my working machine where I can instantly change opacity via keyboard shortcuts, which is really, really cool. Now in this case, if I wanted to change the opacity of something, I would have to select it. So select this, and then select that, and then click the play button, and there you see it just knocks the opacity back. I can go to Edit, Undo, and it undoes that for me. So that's basically all there is to playing an action here inside of Illustrator. You just select the object that you want to play it on, select the action, hit play. That's it. If you see a little toggle switch next to something, that means there's a dialog box involved, this little guy right here. And so if you turn that off, that means you're going to skip the dialog box. If you leave that turned on, that means you'll actually see the dialog box. So for instance, here on Save for Web PNG 24, right now that's turned off. If I were to turn that on, select it and click play, it's going to automatically bring up Save for Web with the PNG 24 already selected for me. Then I can hit save to save that out as a web graphic or whatever I wanted, or I can click cancel to get out. Once I get back, you're going to notice here that the actions panel is still there and my object is still the same. Now there's another way to use actions inside of Illustrator, and that's by utilizing something called button mode. If you go up here to the top right corner of your panel, you can hit the panel menu, and inside of the panel menu there's a little link towards the bottom called button mode. Once you get into button mode, it's pretty simple. Everything's just a one-click button. So if you have something selected and you want to do Save for Web, PNG 24, boom, click it, you're ready to go. There's no play button or anything. So that's kind of simplifying it one more step. Let's hit cancel again and go back. Now I actually prefer to work in the standard mode, not button mode, but you can work in either mode depending on your personal choice. Now if you want to record a new action, it's relatively simple to do so. I'm going to go ahead and create a new action set. Down here at the bottom, I click on this little folder icon. I'll just call this My Actions and hit OK. Once I hit OK, you're going to see it creates a new folder down there. If I want to create a new action inside of this, I'll go ahead and create a new action by clicking the new button here. In this case, I want to save this action as Illustrator 8 EPS. Because a lot of times you work with printers or somebody that's using an older version of Illustrator and they only want EPS files and they only want Illustrator 8, etc. So this is going to be an action to help me expedite that process. So I'm going to save it in the My Action set function key. I'm going to assign it Shift F1. That way I can hit Shift F1 on my keyboard, instantly invoking this action anytime I want, and then I'll assign a green color to it. And I'll hit record. So now I've got that done. I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to save it in my batch folder here, and actually I'll put it on my desktop. So on my desktop, I'll select Illustrator EPS, hit save, and in this case I'll change the version to Illustrator 8 EPS and hit OK. It's going to say saving this document in an older format, converts it, blah blah blah. I'll hit don't show again, hit OK. There we go. Now I'll hit stop. Okay. So there we go. Everything's all good. Now let's close this document up. Let me show you how useful this really is. So let's say I have a whole bunch of images. I've sent them to the printer, and the printer comes back and says, dude, I can't read CS5 files. Send me an Illustrator 8 file. And I'm like, oh God, really? I've got 50 of these things. I don't want to have to open them up each individually and then save them out. That takes forever. So I create this action one time. I go up to the panel menu, choose Batch, and inside of the Batch section here, I select Set My Actions, the action is, of course, the Illustrator 8 EPS. The source folder is going to be my batch folder. I'm going to not include any subfolders because the subfolder is where I'm actually going to put the end result. I am going to override the save command because I want to put them in a folder. So I'm going to select folder. I'll choose it. And in this case, I want to go in my batch folder, Illustrator 8 EPS. Hit open. There we go. Again, overriding the save command ensures that it's not going to save it to the same place I saved it when I was recording the action. Okay? Now, all I have to do is hit OK. It's going to go through, save each one of those individually, and now, if I were to go in and check out my Illustrator EPS, there they are in Illustrator 8 EPS format, all saved. So you can imagine how much time that would save if I had 50, 100, 200 images. It doesn't matter how many you have, as long as you've created an action, you only have to hit a button one time. Now, earlier I said that I was adding a color to the action. If you look in button mode, I added green to the color, right? Well, it kind of stands out above the rest because it's the only one that has color. So you can actually color code all of your actions to make them easier to find here inside of the button mode panel. So if you like button mode, start using colors to help differentiate between them, and then you can easily find the one you need, click it, and you're off and running. So there you have it, how to use actions here inside of Adobe Illustrator, and also how to quickly use actions on multiple images using the built-in batch command. Well, that about wraps up this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, you can post them here on YouTube or via my blog site at justinseeley.com. You can also find me on Twitter. I'm at justinseeley. And you can also post a message to me via Facebook at facebook.com/SeeleyFB. So thanks everybody for watching this tutorial. Hope you learned something. My name is Justin Seeley, and I'll see you next time.